All right, hello. Tonight's objective is to represent integer operations with concrete models and connect the actions with the models to the standardized algorithms. What that means again is your operations will refer to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, but today it's going to be subtracting integers, but we're using models. We'll be using your two color counters again, and you have your own models at home to work with. Be sure in your table of contents to write today's date, October 27th, and it's subtracting integers. Don't forget to label your table of contents and pause your video to write your objective. Okay, your guiding question says, what is a zero pair and how is it used in subtracting integers? It's a little bit different than when we use them in adding. Remember, a zero pair was when you have a positive and a negative integer together and they had a value of 0. Don't forget to skip 3 lines and come back to this at the very end of your video to answer this. Okay, your introductory problem today, I will solve the first one and you solve the second one. So the first one says 2 plus 5. This would be 2 positives plus 5 positives. They are both the same sign. So you could represent it with integers. 2 plus 5 positives. We learned last week when the signs were the same, our answer was the same sign. If these were both positives, my answer would be positive and I just add them together. So 2 plus 5 would just be 7. I could also solve this on a number line. I would start at 0 and I would go 2 spaces in the positive direction. Then I stop and start at the same place and I'm going to go 5 more spaces in the positive direction and my answer is wherever I end up. So for your introductory problem, I want you to solve this one. -1 plus -7. I want you to show me a number line, and you can also draw how we did our integers in class when you just draw them out. So this is your introductory problem for number 3 in your journal. Okay. Patterns and observations. I just want you to tell me tonight what you think 10 minus 16 is. Just give your very best guess here. We have not done anything with subtracting yet if your first number is not bigger. So just tell what you think it would be. Don't forget to answer. You have to guess something. Okay, now we have a few of these to just watch this time. This says 6 minus 4, so it's 6 positives. And you're going to take away 4, but this, remember, is an operation. This is subtracting. So it's 6 positives minus 4 positives. So I have 6 positives here, and all I have to do is say, do I have 4 positives? Yes. So I can take them away, and what I have left is 2 positives. Okay, this time they're both positive, but I have 4 positive integers, but I need to take away 6. I don't have 6 positive integers to take away. So what I have to do is add 0 pairs. And I can add as many as I need because remember, adding a 0 pair does not change the value of this. So I can add a 0 pair. The value of this is still positive 4, but I don't have 6 positive integers yet. I can add another 0 pair. The value of all of this is still positive 4, but I do have 6 positive integers that I can take away now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I just take them away. My answer is now 2 negatives. Okay, so when you model this on your paper, you would draw 4 positive integers, and then we don't have 6 positives to take away, so we're going to add a positive and a negative. And we add a positive and a negative, just showing that we had to add those 0 pairs. Now, we circle all of these, and we draw an arrow that we're taking them away. So our answer here would be -2. Okay. The next one, 7 negatives minus 3 negatives. So on these, the negatives were red. And that's okay. This one's pretty easy. We have 7 negatives, and we want to take away 3 negatives. 1, 2, 3. We can just take them away, and what we have are 4 negatives. We can draw it again. We have 7 negatives. I circle those 3 to take them away, and what I have left is -4. -3 minus -7 is a little different. I have 3 negatives, but I do not have 7 negatives to take away. So I have to add 0 pairs. We don't know how many, we just add until I have 7 negatives that I can take away. Right now I have 4 negatives. So I keep adding 0 pairs. As long as I'm only adding zeros, it's okay. So in this case, I would actually add 4 0 pairs. The value of all of this is still -3 because these are all zeros. But I have 7 negatives that I can take away. I take those away and I have 4 negatives left. Okay, 10 minus -4. Now it's a little different because we're not taking away the same color. We have 10 positives minus 4 negatives. Well, I don't know about you, but if I don't see negatives, I don't know how to take them away. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 positives. We have 10 positives right here, and we need to take away 4 negatives. But there are no negatives here to take away. So I have to add 0 pairs until I have 4 negatives. I can add 0 pairs all day long because it doesn't change the value of what I'm working with. So I have, my value of all of this is still 10, but I have 4 negatives that I can take away. So I just take them away. What I have left is positive 14. So 10 minus a -4 is positive 14. Okay, if you wanted to see this one, 2 positives minus 5 negatives. If you wanted to practice that a little bit, you could. Okay, and then a negative minus a positive, same thing. If I have 6 negatives, this is a little bit longer than a normal video, but we need to take away 7 positives here. I don't have 7 positives. I would add 7 0 pairs so that I could have 7 positives. I'm going to try to do this quickly. I added 4, 5, 6, and 7 0 pairs here. The value of all of this is still -6. There are 6 more negative integers than positive integers. I need to take away 7 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What I would have left here would be 13 negative integers. You could do the same thing right here with this if you wanted a little extra practice. Okay, that was your patterns and your just watch. Now your turn to practice. I want you to try to pause your video and do -4 minus -6. So you start with 4 negatives and you need to take away 6 negatives. Okay. Then, number 6, 6 minus a -3. So you start with 6 positives and you subtract 3 negatives. And I almost forgot to remind you, I gave you a bag of beans. You have positive and negative beans. Whenever you model this in your journal, I don't care which ones you put as positive or negative. You could say the dark beans are positive and the light beans are negative. Just give me a key like this in your journal to tell me which ones are which. But you should have at least 12 positives and 12 negatives in here that you can work with. Number 7, -9 minus -2. So this is 9 negatives minus 2 positives. 0 pairs are used a little differently in subtraction here. Okay, now that you've practiced 3, let's write down our rules. Let's formalize them a little bit. You use your integer chips to represent the first integer. So if you had a -3, you put 3 negative chips. Now if your second number was 5, if you have enough, go ahead and subtract the second integer. Well, that would be 5 positive, so there are not enough. So if you do not have enough, you add 0 pairs until you do. Then you just take away the number that is right there. Just take away that many. Write these down for number 8 in your journal. Oh, wrong page. Okay, number 9. Same as always, what questions do you still have? If you have no questions, what do you think is going to be the most difficult part of this topic? And number 10, how well did you understand this? Give me a 1 to 5. When you come into class, you will have a quiz tomorrow, so make for sure that you are prepared. Some of you have asked to have a little bit of extra practice at the end of your video. So I've given you a few extra problems that if you want to just keep practicing or making these up, We have negatives minus positives, positives minus negatives, negatives minus negatives. So just practice with a few of these if you like. These are not for a grade, but if you'd like them, they are there. Have a good night and good luck.